You know, the older I get, the less important things become. Things that I thought were very, very important seem very trivial, and I'm looking around the social media webs and gaming forums, and trophies and achievements still seem to be these badges of honors that a lot of people place on their chest and present proudly as a way to judge who has the most knowledge when it comes to video games. And I'm here to tell you that they are completely meaningless, and they are so meaningless that I think people have forgotten what gaming is all about. And that's what this video is going to be all about. So stay with me. Good old achievements and trophies, a way to measure your status against other gamers. So before we begin, let me disclose up front, I have 125,037 gamer score on Xbox, and I am a level 278 on PlayStation with 2,202 bronze, 332 silver, 79 gold, and a big fat 0 when it comes to platinum. Now, I think there were 3 games that I finished 100% to where you would get a platinum trophy putting in all that work into a game. And as it turns out, those 3 games do not have platinum trophies. So you can say that if you want to judge my quote-unquote work when it comes to video games, there are 3 games on PlayStation that I should have platinum trophies for. It's not my fault they didn't include them. So I want to talk about this idea of gamer score and trophy count. It's things that just really don't mean anything. Now, I've been playing games for close to 35 years, and I can promise you I've played more games in the past than I have in the present or the future. And I've played more games before the advent of achievements and trophies. So did all of those games mean nothing? Did all of those games impart no knowledge to me whatsoever when it came to games and gaming and game design and the types of games that I enjoy, or stories and characters that I can talk about that I can remember? Does none of that count? Now, I would argue that some of you out there, probably a good many of you, believe that if somebody tells you they've got 15, 20, 56 platinum trophies, they must know a whole hell of a lot about video games, and you should have them on your podcasts. But let me tell you, most of the people that are gunning for these meaningless trophies and higher achievement scores, they're people that love video games, they like to play video games, but there's this psychological thing that happens, and that's why achievements and trophies were implemented. Originally, good games were good games, and you played them, you finished them. Bad games were bad games, and you didn't finish them. How can we get gamers to spend more time with bad games? Because they're always going to spend good times or long times with good games. What do? We add in some meaningless things for them to get. So finish the game, get a trophy, walk through a door 6 times, get an achievement. This is all meaningless fodder to get you to continue to play video games. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go after them or you shouldn't enjoy them or it isn't cool to get achievements and trophies, but the idea that somehow people that you're talking to know about video games, or they are quote-unquote gamers, or they have quote-unquote credentials to talk about video games is absolutely ridiculous, because there are people like me who've been playing games probably longer than most people that you listen to on these podcasts or on YouTube that have a wealth of knowledge. I've played games. I've played genres of video games when they were brand new. There isn't any genre that is new anymore, because people that have been playing games as long as I have played all the original games when they first came out back in the day, and they absolutely meant a lot to me and to gamers. And I have knowledge, and so do most gamers who've been around for a long time, that means a lot more than a simple score or a trophy count. Now, you might look at my gamer score on Xbox and think that's high, 125,000 and some change, and it is, but I never played a game to get those achievements. I purchased games that looked interesting to me, and I played them, and I beat them, and I moved on to the next game, and I played the games that I loved, and I beat them, and I moved on to the next game. There was never this idea that in order for me to look important or to be part of something, I had to have a high a trophy count or a high achievement count. It just didn't make any sense to me, and it still doesn't make sense to me. And I've witnessed this sort of rise of these people that claim to know a lot about games and want to talk about games, but they don't have any knowledge about the history of video games. They haven't played games that you would think most people into video games would have played in the past, and all they're doing is simply mining trophies and achievements and trying to bulk up that score. And then when you ask them, well, what are your gaming credentials? My answer would be, well, I was around when the Odyssey came out. I was around when the Atari came out. I played the very first RPG. I know why random battles were implemented in video games. Do you know why that is? So the idea that, well, what are your credentials? I've got 125,000 gamer score. What does that mean? It means absolutely nothing. Again, I want to stress, I'm not trying to say these are bad, and I'm not trying to make excuses, I guess, for not having a platinum trophy or for having a gamer score that's below 1 million, but I do think that it's gotten a bit out of hand when it comes to looking at people wanting to discuss a topic and thinking that they have knowledge simply because of an arbitrary score or count that means literally nothing. You know, it's funny, I have a friend who's been working on cars since we were in grade school together. He loved cars all through high school. He never went to college. He became a mechanic. He has a little shop, and he knows more about cars than anybody that I know. Does he have the flashy shop with the most marketing that you see on television or all of the flags outside? To me, that's akin to a high trophy count or a high achievement count. He doesn't have any of that, but what he does have is knowledge, and I know that he has that knowledge because I'm able to talk to him and I can see it in him. I can hear it when he speaks about his passion, and that is cars. And it's the same thing when you're talking to people about video games. And unfortunately, all of the flash has taken over, and this idea of high trophies and high achievements is absolutely something that I find really funny. And I think it's a shame because it limits your experience and it limits the people that you're talking to, and it gives you a false sense of knowledge when you're speaking to people. And I think it's something that going into next year, maybe we can sort of back away from a bit. Doesn't really mean that much. It is fun to go after trophies. It is fun to go after achievements. I'm not trying to negate the fact that people like them. If you like them, great. But please don't make the mistake of thinking that if somebody has a profile with a lot of trophies or a lot of achievements, that somehow they have greater knowledge than you do or anybody else does, or any knowledge at all when it comes to video games. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like this video, share it out, subscribe to the channel. We're going to grow in the new year, and I'll see you in the next video.